Okay, this is probably going to be my last video of the night. Maybe it won't be. But I want to make it clear to theists this message. And the theist I'm talking about is the one that believes hell is internal suffering, insurmountable suffering for any imperfection, because the slightest imperfection is still imperfection. So, and God is holy, and His nature will want to inflict it with suffering, forever, I guess. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm trying to add maybe some of my interpretations, but the bottom line is this: if we did believe that God exists, we'd be in absolute fear of it. We'd be Christians. We'd be like you. My question is how could you not be afraid of that? Well, God doesn't want you to be afraid. Okay. Here's the thing. If you're saying something's insurmountable, if you say somebody deserves insurmountable pain for not believing in its existence or not trusting it, and then you make the claim that if you even, let's say this, if you doubt its existence, if you can't, see, the thing is that apologists cannot doubt in their brain, since they believe in this suffering so much and it's entrenched in their brain. I won't say that apologists, the initial reasons why they're worshiping this God is because they're afraid of hell. No, you could have been a drug addict. You could have had something empty in your life. You could have seen your mom cured of cancer. All those things could have initially attracted you to this idea of God. However, once you trusted that those who unbelieve want suffering, internal suffering, and you deserve internal suffering, and that your quote-unquote promise of heaven is a gift, once you adopted those tenets, and you firmly believe, not adopted, and you still adopt those tenets, and you maintain them firmly, and you continue to repeat those tenets to the unbeliever, that tells the unbeliever that you have no intention of opening your mind and evaluating these claims. Because if you do, your very own words indicate the consequence that will happen to you. So someone with this worldview cannot be objective and will not be objective until somehow they don't believe in these claims. However, either the miracles of answering prayers or order or something's holding you to this thing that allows you to believe in this aspect of a God that you say you feel uncomfortable, but you will trust because of what? You will trust that God did all these things in the Bible. This is the virtue that you have, the trust you'll have of something that's beyond your comprehension. There's anything that seems to contradict, or we say that contradicts this reality, you say is beyond this reality, that it's incomprehensible. It's beyond our reasoning. We should question it, but we should accept it because it's just beyond. Isn't it? Are you trying to tell us that you would be willing to be objective and see our side for the risk or the Pascal wager of hell? Well, why would you? This is the reason why you tell us about Pascal wager. You're telling us Pascal's wager, okay, not as a means of converting us, of course, or means of fear, creating fear in us, of course, because you believe that initial fear, if fear is needed to convert somebody, we know that, well, so be it. But you always mention that wisdom must come along, and you must see the true benevolent reasons in separate from the fear. I know that you mentioned that. However, the Pascal's wager is a projection. It's a reason why. It's a reason. It may tell why you won't convert, or why you cannot be objective. Let's go over Pascal's wager. If you believe in God and nothing happens, then you don't risk anything. But if it's the other way around, He exists, and everything that you said is true to me exists, then you risk insurmountable suffering. That is directed toward me, but it's also, subconsciously probably directed towards you, indicating why you're not going to be objective. That you refuse, that you will sit there and justify your presupposition. Keep in mind, Sam Shimon, when he talks to Muslims, he talks about fundamentally the reason why the Muslims must believe Christ is God. Judgment. One word, judgment. Maybe two words, hell. It's very simple. Now I'm sure there's other evangelicals that think hell is probably a really bad place, and will try to tell us it's not avoiding hell, it's gaining eternal life. But that's you. But you don't tell that unbeliever that. Once you're desperate and you have no other reasons, many apologists, not all, not even most, I'll just say a number of apologists will go back to the word judgment. That word judgment means you'll be accountable. Accountability is a code word for you will pay for not being repentant. And whether you call it suffering or whatever, this ultimately is the reason you tell us why we should convert. Because many of the atheists that you are coming in contact with aren't drug addicts. They're not poor. They don't have psychological problems. They don't have this vulnerability. The only vulnerability that you can see is that when they're with judgment, the day of judgment, where suffering will be inflicted upon those who are wicked, defined those who do not trust God. And I defined trusting God in my previous videos. So I think that's it for this video. I'm going to close it up. Thanks.